This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
Welcome to the Ghee Spot podcast. I'm your guide, Katie Silcox, bringing you your weekly self-love soundbite. Join us for conversations around sex, spirit, and all things self-care. All things self-care. All things spirit.
This is a journey into sound.
You are a Ghee Spot podcast with Katie Silcox.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ghee Spot podcast. For today, we are in the beautiful Virginia fall, and as I waxed about, maybe eloquently, maybe not, who knows, right? But I was waxing. This fall is just really hitting me with so much gratitude. You know, I was posting this on Instagram the other day of, you know, just waking up and looking at the sunrise come over these Blue Ridge Mountains and the color of the trees, just so bright orange and red and yellow, and just yelling out the window like a crazy lady at Mother Nature, like, stop it. You are too beautiful. You are the biggest flirt. And in that praise, which praise and prayer, praise and petition, praise, right? And even atonement, even for this asking of forgiveness, these things are just so lacking, I believe, in a lot of the spiritual community, the yoga world and the new age world. And like just getting up in the morning and praising what Mother Nature's doing has been such a big shift for my brain and my nervous system. And it's not even like a conscious thing. It's just the gratitude that comes when you realize that you aren't forever in this body. And you know, when you're in your 20s, you're in the period of what I call like the period of fucking around, to be quite honest. And that's a good thing. Like when you're in your 20s, you need to just be like figuring it out. And the other thing that 20-year-olds believe that's really necessary is that they believe that they're forever, and they believe that they're immortal and that they will not die. And no 20-year-old that I know is like really thinking about her imminent demise. And that's a good thing because it creates in the body this willingness to take risks and question everything. And we want our 20-year-olds to do that. But, you know, by the time you're in your 30s, like I'm sliding gracefully in the next couple of years into my 40s. And we start to just, hopefully, you know, if we're healthy, to see that we're not forever. And that's also really good, because what it makes me do is look out at the trees and say, oh man, thank you for another fall. Like, I don't know how many more I'll have. And who knows, maybe I'll have 80 more, maybe I'll have 10 more, one more. But the point is, like, I don't know. And so thank you, you know, and let me be in it. And this is what I want to talk about today, which is this idea that I've been really working with and experiencing, which is ecstasy, everyday ecstasy. I was raised very much in the tantric tradition of ecstasy. Tantra is an ecstatic tradition. And in the tantric tradition, there are very formalized and informal, depending on the path, methodologies, but I was in a very formalized in some ways path. And there are very formalized methodologies on how we can force, is the word that I would use, the body into bliss. Methodologies that use and in some ways very much control the body in a way that will lead to ecstatic experiences. And I've had many of them. And you may have heard that this idea of enlightenment as being this state of bliss, or this state of oneness, or this state where you don't feel pain, or this state where you are beyond attachment, or the state where you are able to witness the world but not to be caught in it, et cetera, et cetera. And I've had those experiences very much, and what they were for me were always temporary. And I used to think of that as the sign of my lack of level, right? And now what I'm seeing through the very humbling study of our anatomy and our physiology, and particularly our nervous system, but really all of the functional systems in the body, is that, you know, it's really not healthy to live in an ecstatic bliss heightened state. In fact, it's unhealthy. And what I'm now believing and seeing through my studies is that many of these ancient yogis were practicing methods that were designed to bring you to the brink of death. So Mother Nature is this incredibly loving, caring force. And when you're about to die, she squirts out all these extremely ecstatic, powerful bliss chemicals in your brain that make you not feel any pain, that make you feel one with everything. And she does this to our little animals and plants as well. When an animal is getting its legs ripped off, when it's being killed, the animal enters into ecstasy. So I'm making the case physiologically, scientifically, that natural health is designed not to have us reach extreme states of ecstasy, but everyday ecstasy. And that ecstasy is titrated, squirted out into our brain, into our body, blood, lymph, endocrine system in a way that's titrated. And that word means to be dosed out in the right amounts. That supports not your death, but supports your life. And that's what we're really interested in studying at Shakti School, is how to be on this planet and alive and healthy in this mortal body in a way that enables us to do what we're here to do, which is learn who we are and learn our lessons. And part two, love people, love others, love the creatures of this planet, people, animals, nature, and help those people, love and serve. Right. So I can't love and serve if I'm in a heightened bliss state. It's just true. So I'll be speaking more about this in my forthcoming book, which is nowhere near being done, but it is happening, and I have a lot to say, and I'm very, very excited to share it with you guys. But for today, I want to dive into this idea of ecstasy as our birthright, this idea of ecstasy as being something that we crave and that we desperately need, and that is a food for our spirit. And I believe that we're all kind of starving in terms of our spirit, in terms of our ecstasy. A lot of our addictions are actually just this lack of experiencing everyday joy and everyday connection. There's a beautiful way we can look at this from the mythological traditions of everywhere, but in particular the Greek tradition of Aphrodite and Athena, or the Hindu tradition of Lakshmi and Parvati, or Durga. And so what we have here is a duality in our psyche, and all the goddesses are just aspects of your own psyche, your own energy, brain, body system. And so imagine, if you will, there are two goddesses. There are many, by the way, but there are many, many, many gods and goddesses. But let's imagine for a moment there are two goddesses that live inside all of us, Aphrodite and Athena. And Aphrodite is this aspect of us that is, and this would be Lakshmi if we were in the Hindu tradition of myth. And Aphrodite is this aspect of us that has no interest in doing things. She is an emanation force filled. She is the aspect of ourselves that is being. And she's associated with our sexuality and our sensuality and our creativity and our procreativity. And beauty and delight is the word, and just everyday joy. And Aphrodite has absolutely no interest in how much you make this year for your salary. She has no real interest in whether or not you publish that white paper, or you get the raise, or you achieve anything. She has absolutely no interest in that. She is the emanation of the Italian phrase "la bel fa niente," which means the beautiful do nothing, and and the beautiful be everything. So this Aphrodite field is really the power center when she is held as something sacred. So when you hold your creativity as sacred, when you hold your artistry as sacred, when you hold your sexuality and the act of sex as sacred, when you hold your procreativity as sacred, when you hold your need to take a bubble bath as sacred, when you hold whatever it is that delights you as something sacred, something God-given, and something to be given back to God, when you do that, she is fed. And when she's placed, and I'm thinking of this beautiful line from Marianne Williamson where she says, Aphrodite has to be placed in the temple in order for her to serve us in the highest way. So what does that mean to be placed in the temple? It means that I give all of these aspects to the divine and I consecrate them as holy and divine in my life. Sex is holy and divine in my life. Art is holy and divine in my life. And I need you now to think about, what is it that brings me ecstasy that's every day? What is it that, not like running away from reality ecstasy, but just everyday ecstasy, joy? For me, I used to wonder, why do I like to buy essential oils so much? Like, why am I spending all my paycheck on herbs, like tinctures? I'm obsessed with like floral essences and herbs. And why am I spending all my money on Ayurveda or otherwise body oils that are really expensive? Like, I have too many of them, and I need to use them all before I buy the next one. And I think that's a good practice. And I very much do believe that we shouldn't hoard. But what I realize is that oils are my Aphrodite. And it brings me tears. It's just like, this brings me joy and I'm not abusing it. And I'm using these things. And thanks be to God, I can afford them in the right amounts. I'm just giving you an example. There are some of you out there who are wacky weirdos that just like love to watch, I don't know. Let me think of the craziest thing, like anime from Japan. And you just love Japanese anime. I'm actually thinking of one of my students in Los Angeles that goes to all these like, you know, Comic-Con or BodCon or all these cons, like these conferences on like wacky, weird, like fetishy type. Okay, that is what this girl digs. She likes to dress up like a black cat in a freaking leopard suit. She gets delight out of this. This girl makes no money off of it. I'm talking to you, Miss Amy in LA. She doesn't make any money off of it. This girl takes delight in it. So I'm using this funky example to tell you that you are the judge and we all delight in different things. And if we can make them holy and consecrate them, then they will be used for good. And I just believe that we're starving from this. And let's talk about, if you didn't listen to my talk last week, no, I think it was a couple of weeks back on basically the patriarchy. And it's such a buzzword, but it's so wonderful that it's coming through. And how can we use this buzzword and how can we use the buzz around it to truly do good and truly make positive change and not use patriarchy and the consciousness around it to just become really angry women, right? We can get angry, but we have to transmute this. And so one of the worst things that early Christendom and even the Abrahamic religions did to us, which I don't believe actually is the original teaching of Christ and Mary, is it said that your sexuality, your creativity is not holy and is actually sinful, and the body is sinful, and your sensuality is sinful, and your sexuality, especially if you're a woman, but for men as well, is unholy. And this schism, this break, this ripping apart of the body and the sexuality from what is divine and holy, I believe to be the major wound in all of us, men and particularly women. Why us in particular? Because we are her. We are the birther of babies. That's who we are physiologically. But it's both, right? It's men are the inseminators of the birther. So we need each other and we love each other. And even if you're a lesbian, or a gay man, it doesn't matter. We need one another. We need the divine inner masculine and feminine in one another, even if it means that you have a friend who pollinates or inseminates your ideas. I call my friend Kirsten my inseminator with our music. Like I'll like have this big vision and she'll come along and like just make it so much better and help birth it with me. So in other words, the great wound happened, and our hearts are still breaking from this, by the way, when our sexuality was made unholy, when our creativity was made unholy, and when our bel fa niente, our beautiful do nothing, was made unholy. And what did it do to us, my beloveds? It turned us all into these imbalanced Athenas. And Athena is a rock star, by the way. She is Durga. She is the one who comes in on a tiger. She has got armor on. She has got a sword and many other weaponry. Durga, Athena, is this mama who just is the grand warrior. She is wisdom and warriorship. And when she's in the temple, when she's made holy, she does amazing things. Can you hear her in my voice? This is the Women's March. This is any march for social justice that is nonviolent. This is well-directed, righteous anger, right? This is sticking up for yourself. This is fight when you need to fight and you don't collapse. But in nature, fight, once you realize there's no more danger, it lasts 90 seconds. And then you shake it off like an animal and you come back to your everyday joy. So what I believe that has happened is this Athena is like the part of you that is the warrior that does shit. You make a to-do list, you get shit done, you achieve. And what happened in our feminist, amazing, beautiful development also harmed us. And that was women can do anything and everything, and we can. But, I'm not preaching to anybody that's not already in my choir. We got the short end of the stick and we bow before our foremothers that got us the right to vote, right? That got us the right to work in offices and to become CEOs. But what we sacrificed was Aphrodite. And we're all obsessed with doing, and we're all relating our worthiness to how much we get done that day. And I can speak about this with great passion and fervor because I am one of those women. I was raised by Vera Silcox, who we're going to have on the podcast because we desperately need to hear from this beautiful elder woman that is my mother. And what Vera will tell you is that her mama, Mary Bell, my grandma in the 1950s, like my mom saw her mother just being Hera, who is the goddess who is a wife. And you know what? We're supposed to emanate. Some of us, right? You can emanate whoever you want, but like my mom was like, "Oh my God, you've denied your Athena, you've denied your Aphrodite. You're just a wife to this man." And I don't want that. Like I want to do something. I want to achieve something. I want to go to New York City and study art and design, and I want to paint things, and I want to become an artist, and I want to become an interior designer, and I want to have a business. And my mom did all of that. And oh my God, my mom, I call her the Energizer Bunny. She has a million times more energy to go get shit done during the day than I do. And my sister and I make fun of her in love and laugh and say, if mom comes over and we're going to do stuff like, Mom, we need to take a break to eat lunch. Mom, in the afternoon, I might need to lay down and take a little 20-minute nap. Like my mom can just go. And so then we have this Athena who is so identifying with this sense of doing that she forgets about being. And I'm not saying that's my mom, because my mom does take time for being. and she has a beautiful Aphrodite self. But what she will tell you is that Athena, and what I feel in myself and my sisters that I know, like our Athena is like winning over our Aphrodite. Athena transmits and she goes out and she takes what she wants, but Aphrodite magnetizes. She draws it in towards her and to her through the very nature of her vibration. She is joy that is natural, right? It's not a 24/7 orgasm. It's just a natural experience of being in the beauty of today. The Greeks have a word for ecstasy, ek, stasis. So we're not talking about a heightened pleasure, but a portal into the realm of the sacred. Your ordinary consciousness can't handle too much majesty over time. You can read a book about this. It's called My Stroke of Insight with Jill Bolte Taylor, where she describes having a stroke, and her body is experiencing so much ecstasy. And it's exactly what I was speaking to in the beginning. When you're about to die, you will have this incredible vision of ecstasy. And there's nothing wrong with this, and it can be a great wake-up call, to go do psychedelic drugs, or in Jill's case, and I'm thinking of Ram Dass, where you have a stroke, and near-death experiences can do this. Drugs can do this. Tantric visualizations and breath work, and very, very strong and usually very long practices whereby you withdraw your senses can do this, but it's not sustainable. Aphrodite is the one that says, I don't need to have a stroke, and I don't need to take drugs, and I don't need to pump my belly and hyperventilate and go out into the woods and meditate for 40 days to get this. I can do that. And sometimes it's necessary to have a shamanic, rebirthing. But more often, and especially for you guys, my listeners who are mothers and everyday women and priestesses, because most of you are like hidden priestesses, we need to cultivate it every single day in small titrated amounts. For me, God and my relationship to God as a masculine force has been helpful because it enables me to be the feminine. And in this marriage, I get to be the soft feminine coming to this masculine presence. And there's an alchemy in that. There's a seeding in that. And for me, that relationship to the divine, whether it be in my morning prayers and meditation, or whether it be throughout the day as I stop to feel my bones and ask God to be in my life in all ways, is a portal into divinity. I think that what we have happening here at Shakti School is really a priestess training school, in that we are here to revive this old pain pattern of separating our life from Aphrodite, from separating our sensuality and our sexuality and our creativity and our procreativity from something holy and really pure and otherworldly in a way. That these two get to come together is what a priestess is. It's what she used to be, and what I think is happening on the planet through many women and many teachers, including myself. We are reawakening her, and we are unshackling ourselves from a lot of the shame and the pain and the guilt and the fear and the rage, right? That comes when you deny her. And so what I want to leave you with is just a really simple Aphrodite practice. And that is, I just want you to write down a few of the things that you take delight in that don't achieve anything other than her radiance and delight and joy. And I want you to, in your own way, for me, it's through prayer and through words, but you can do it in any way you like. Find a way to make that holy. Find a way to make that sacred. And so if it's a massage, approach getting that massage as a divine act of love to this part of your psyche, Aphrodite, who is pure pleasure and joy and celebration of life. And approach it in that way. It might be getting a massage. It might be anything really that really is this sense of her delight. And try to do something in that vein every day. Do something every day that absolutely doesn't make you money. It doesn't check off anything on your list. It doesn't get your approval from daddy. It doesn't make you a better person necessarily from the world's perspective. But it is a secret initiation into a now not so secret priestesshood that understands that it's necessary for your spirit to grow and to be made known. And if you do that, then you will become an emissary for her, and you will walk this planet, and you will be able to hold space to inspire others to be able to do the same. You will inspire others to be able to do the same. On that note, if you want to learn how to really embody this, what I encourage you to do is, it doesn't have to be our training. I think our training's amazing. But we need more well-trained priestesses on this planet. We need less priestesses who go take one weekend workshop and think that they're ready. We need women who have been steeped in some sort of wisdom tradition. And I happen to glean from a few, but I'm really rooted in Ayurveda. I have a master's degree in Ayurveda. I've been studying Ayurveda for years. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, studying Tantra for over a decade. And I am your guide. And I have brought in about 20 of the world's most wonderful women teachers to join me in this exploration. And they have been steeped in their own respective wisdom traditions. And so if you're like, oh my God, like I am a yoga teacher and I know there's more, this training is for you. If you are like, oh, I'm just a gal out here that wants to know more about her health, this training's for you. If you're a woman who's like, I know it's my purpose on this planet to help other people and myself, and I want a real wisdom tradition that I can feel safe in and that I can feel bolsters me and supports me while at the same time honors my gifts and intuition and my evolutionary potential, this might be the training for you. We have an Ayurveda Tantra certification program where you will become a health coach, and we have a couple of different levels. Level 1 starts this January 2019, and we still have spots left. So you can email us at info@katiesilcox.com, and you can set up a free consultation session with one of my amazing gals who can give you all the download on it. Starts this coming January. We also have the Lineage of Love, which is a really rad subscription program where you get a class, a video, and an audio class with me every month for around the cost of one yoga class anywhere. So check all those things out, and please subscribe to our podcast. It helps other people find us. Leave us a great review if you love us. It helps people find us on the iTunes, and how awesome to be able to share this stuff with women. I mean, and men, but really, especially women. And you can connect to us at our new website, which is launching. I don't even think it's launched yet, but it's up there. Check out theshaktischool.com. We've got a new website. It's so freaking pretty. And it's full of just like a ton of free shit that you can have, and we want you to have it. Check out the blog. We've got PDFs you can download, free cleanse, this, that. I mean, we've really been working hard on it, you guys. All right, mamas, have a great, beautiful fall day, and we hope to see you in school soon.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new value.